So, big news hit recently is BioWare released the Mass Effect Legendary Edition trailer. It'll feature Mass Effect, Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 3. Though despite its addition of 40 slices of downloadable content, it will not include the Pinnacle Station expansion. The reason being that the original data from that was actually really corrupted, and they came out and said it was going to take them another 6 months to get that rendered and ready for this game release. So they said, unfortunately, they just couldn't do it. But this is set to release in May. But it's not going to include any multiplayer. But I don't think that even really matters. I don't think people play Mass Effect for the multiplayer. Now, this is what's so awesome. This is why I'm excited. I've not played a single Mass Effect game. So now I can get into this like HD, awesome world. All this stuff's going to be ramped up, remastered, and it's going to be an awesome experience, I think, at this point for me.
Hopefully the game doesn't seem aged to you because, like, you know, games like this, this game was made, like, these games were made years and years ago. So they may seem kind of antiquated to you in terms of their mechanics.
Yeah.
But I maintain that Mass Effect 2, in my opinion, is one of the greatest games ever made.
Number 2.
In terms of number 2, yeah. The first Mass Effect, I couldn't finish it. It was too...
Really?
Yeah, I didn't really care for it all that much. But Mass Effect 2 is fucking awesome. And Mass Effect 3 is kind of like an extension of that.
Yeah.
But there was obviously a lot of listeners, if you've been in PlayStation or in gaming for more than, you know, the last 5 years, you probably remember the controversy of Mass Effect 3 and how...
Now, was that Andromeda?
No.
Which one's Andromeda?
Andromeda was the fourth Mass Effect game, but is not a sequel to Mass Effect 3.
Okay, so it's not even relevant
thing. And it's a pile of shit, so don't even worth... I mean, I played it for probably 15, 20 hours, and I pretty much hated it.
I wasn't sure where it fell into the mix, so thanks for the clarification.
Yeah, but Mass Effect 2... It's one of those things where you could play Mass Effect 1... But Mass Effect 1 is more of like an old school, like hardcore RPG.
All right.
You have to, all the characters in your party, you have to level them all up manually. You have to apply all of their character points manually. Whereas like starting in Mass Effect 2, they gave you the options to play it more like an action game or more like an RPG where it's like, if you choose to play it like an action game, it'll auto level all of your characters, assign the points and what the default is for all of them and stuff. And you don't have to worry about spending time tweaking all your character points and what skills they should have and all that crap.
Yeah.
Or you could play it in true RPG mode where you do everything manually. And then they have a middle mode where it's like a combination of the two, which is where I played it, where it's like, oh, for Shepard, because he's my main dude, I went in and I manually did all of his points and skills and everything. But for all of my party members, I auto-leveled them because I didn't want to have to go through and do all of the thinking about leveling up all of the characters that you have. Because once you get once you get all of the characters in your party, you've got like 6 or 8 characters that you have to maintain leveling on. And that might not sound like a lot, but for me, it was too much. So I didn't want to fuck with it.
Yeah.
But Mass Effect 2 was absolutely awesome. Mass Effect 3, in my opinion, was very good. The ending was kind of meh, but I don't think it deserved all the shit that it got when it launched.
Okay.
But yeah, if I go back and I replay the Mass Effect games, I probably will just skip 1 again. I might play with it a little bit. Yeah. It's like I said, it's just compared to.
But what if they mess with it a little bit to make it a little more like Mass Effect 2, where you have an option to play?
If they do that, then yeah, I might consider doing that.
Because looking at the graphics, dude, it looks awesome.
The first Mass Effect, I remember playing it and be like, this is wild, because it was the first game I ever played with film grain. I don't know if you've ever... now it's so common.
Uh-huh.
But the original Mass Effect was the first game I ever played with film grain, and I played it on PC. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then like I was playing it and I kind of was getting into it. And then I just kind of got tired of the systems. But I probably would be willing to dabble back into it.
Mm-hmm.
But especially because if you, with the collection, I'm assuming it will let you transfer your save from 1 to 2 to 3. Because originally you could, like if you played 2 on PS3,
carry over your stuff.
You could carry your save over to Mass Effect 3.
I'm sure it'll work that way. It would have to work that way.
So it would be interesting to be able to do that. Now, when I played them, I just said, fuck it. Give me a default save, and I'll just kind of continue on.
Yeah.
But that might be why I wasn't so pissed off at the end of Mass Effect 3, because I didn't have this freaking 150-hour-long story arc that I had been building up, and just to have it not mean anything at the end of Mass Effect 3. Well, that's the thing, too.
People tend to be more opinionated about the stuff they're attached to. So I think the fact that 3 had such a wild reaction just means how beloved the series is.
It's a good game. 3... People, like, if you, at the time, if you were to Google Mass Effect 3, it would be all negative press.
Yeah.
But I maintain that Mass Effect 3 is a really good game.
Yeah. You better watch out. People on YouTube are going to give you shit for saying that.
I know. Mass Effect 2 is better. The story is better. The the game is better, I think. The characters are better, all that. But Mass Effect 3 is still a really good game. So I am excited for it. Whether or not I'll play it is a different story entirely, but I am excited for it.
Cool. Very cool.